100-year-old man in orthopedic shoes with the little dog that loved to watch Charlotte's Web. Stories from my life. 100-year-old man. The 100-year-old man. Stories from my life. Hello, y'all. I'm Dianna Brianne. I don't give advice, information, recommendations, or suggestions. I just share with you my perspective on different topics, as is with this one. I hope you like, share, subscribe to all 5 of my channels. Links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. If you connect with me, I will likely connect with you as well. Well, I've been talking about little stories from my life. They're not in chronological order. They're bits and pieces here and there. And I kind of wanted to let up for air, so to speak, from such heavy topics, because I talk a lot about a lot of heavy topics, and I give you my perspective on them. And I talk a lot about light topics too, but of recent I have talked a lot about heavier topics, and so I kind of wanted just to tell little stories. And I've told many of these stories before, sometimes not in great detail, sometimes I'm repeating some of the stories, sometimes they're brand new stories. I'm not even sure if I've ever told this story before, because about a year ago I got into storytelling from my life, and so I have a lot of new people on my channel, and so I thought, well, you know what, it's worth a repeat for those that have not heard the story. So as y'all know, I had a health crisis about 10 years ago, and I'm fine now, but it was a very scary time for me. My husband was up here. We live in the South, but he was about 6 hours away because he had transferred positions to where we're at now. But I wanted to stay behind in the town we were living in Georgia, so that my kids could finish out the school year, because I'd put them back into public school after homeschooling them. I wanted them to finish that up. And we were remodeling the house that we had so we could put it up for rent at that time. And so basically, what happened was I had a suddenly, and as y'all know, it was about a wooden hanger that I ran into that caused me some issues. And crazy story, crazy, who would have ever thought it in life? But nonetheless, I was dealing with health issues at that time. And so there I was, being almost like a single mom with 3 kids, wonderful children. I never let them know I was sick. I was able to function perfectly fine as a mom, and they didn't even know. But I knew what was going on, and I was quite scared during that time. So I wanted to figure out the best solution to have someone nearby. And, I had looked in the paper, I'd gone on the internet, but I couldn't find anybody that would be reliable that I wanted to bring into my home. But I knew this little old man. I called him the 100-year-old man. I don't know how old he really was, but I called him the 100-year-old man. He was very, very short. He was really a tiny little man. And he lived in the back. It was like a little apartment in the back of a thrift shop, and he went to church all the time, and he kind of was a volunteer who helped out at that thrift shop. And so I had gotten to know this little man because I got to know everyone that worked there, and he was just such a kind, good, little old man. And he didn't have any family. I don't know what happened to his family, but he was really very much alone. He had some disabilities. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to give him the opportunity to maybe sometimes, like a couple days a week, he could come over and just kind of have a place to come, because he kind of wanted a family. And so I would go pick up this little 100-year-old man, because now remember, I wasn't doing all that well myself, but I was able to drive, and I had a great big expedition. So he would pile all of his stuff in like he was going away for a year. Every time he came, he'd bring bags of food, he'd bring his little dog and a little dog carrier. It was called, I can't remember the name of the dog, but it was the most adorable dog ever. It liked to watch Charlotte's Web on TV. We had the old VHS player in the mother-in-law suite, so he'd put the little doggy in the mother-in-law suite with all of its treats and everything, and turn on the TV with Charlotte's Web. It was a cartoon. The little dog loved that show. So when the show would, be over, he would start barking, and we'd go in, rewind the VHS tape, and start it again. And then the little doggy was so, so happy. He was just the most wonderful, amazing little dog. And so the 100-year-old man would come over, and sometimes he liked to cook. So I would go out and buy the very, very best of foods, the best of meats, the best of everything, because that's what he always wanted to do. He loved to cook. And so I don't think he ever had a home in recent years, and I don't think he had the ability to cook and to do the things that he loved. And he felt so happy to have a place to come visit. And I felt so happy having someone that I knew that could help me around the house during the daytime, so that I could, so that I could take the time out to rest. And so he would cook, he would clean, he would do all of that. And he was just wonderful. He wore great big orthopedic shoes. And one day he went to get something out of we had like a food area part of the house, canned goods and everything. He went to get some food out of there, and he tripped and he fell. He flipped. And I was like horrified, and I ran to him and said, "Oh no, don't worry about it. I bounce." The bouncing 100-year-old man. And he did. He must have been used to falling. And because he did fall a lot, he had some medical issues. And so, it was really more like me having now a fourth child rather than a third child. But he loved so much to come to the house. He loved to cook. He loved to be part of a family. And so we let him come there, and I would go pick him up. And like I said, he would come over for the whole day. And he really, really was a great support and a great help to me during that time. Even though he'd bring everything, and we looked like the Beverly Hillbillies coming in just for the day, he'd bring all of this stuff like he was going to stay forever. And but the little dog just loved. I think the dog's name was Peach. The dog's name was Peach, and little Pete was the most adorable dog, and he loved to watch Charlotte's Web over and over and over and over. And we always knew if he was barking, he wanted us to rewind it and play it again. And somehow the little dog must have related to the little animals in the movie. And so the little 100-year-old man, as I called him, who bounced, he would make wonderful foods and everything like that. And supposedly he had a wife miles and miles away. I think it was more in his mind, he wanted to believe that he had someone who cared about him and that he had a family elsewhere. I don't know whether he just told that as a story or if it was a reality. But anyhow, he was having some significant health issues, and so I could no longer bring him over. Plus, we were getting the house remodeled, and everything was torn up, so he couldn't cook. And so, and then we moved up here a little further north in the South. We live in the South. And then he got some significant health issues after that, and he did pass on. And I was so sad to hear that he passed on, because he was such a wonderful, kind man. He really, really was such a wonderful, kind man in my storm of life during that time. So he was sort of like an angel who came into my life, to cook and to clean and things like that, and to also be there. I could talk to him. I could tell him how scared I was over my health issues, and he was a good sounding board. He was great to listen to. He was very compassionate, very listening, and very understanding. Okay. Well, from my house to yours, may God bless you. I hope you like, share, subscribe to all 5 of my channels, and I hope to talk to you soon again. Bye-bye. place to relax and a place to enjoy.